qualitative data analysis is like exploring a data landscape. This is a statement, and you'd like to use these pictures in your workshops and your excellent books. Can you tell us something about the evolution of this picture?
Well, it's interesting that you ask this at this moment, because just recently I found a paper by just reorganizing my office, and it actually showed the genesis of all of this, and it's a paper from 2003. So basically a long time before I wrote the first book in 2010, but I was really carrying that idea pregnant for a while. I guess that's a more German saying. Anyway, the paper is called A Visit to Qualitative, Teaching and Learning Computer-Based Qualitative Data Analysis in an Online Research Method Course. And one of the message in the paper is that, well, just online learning doesn't work. I guess we know this by now. Online resources are great, but also face-to-face meetings are necessary. And it's easier to learn in an online environment if we give people a metaphor to think within or to think with the metaphor. And based on this paper, the idea was born, if I should write a book on Atlas one day, it would be like the journey to Atlantis, in the sense, I mean, just kind of twisting a bit the name ATLAS.ti. And this where the first idea was born about putting it into a metaphor like a journey. And I actually have a drawing. I made a drawing on the back of this paper, and I put down the first ideas here, which the title back then was Expedition to Atlantis, and then look and feel overview of the data landscape as chapter 2, and chapter 3, the project management, and it's still chapter 3 today. And then there was something about writing a diary, and coding, exploring the landscape, and to create the topological layout of the landscape by working with networks in the first idea for chapter 6, and then querying the data, going into in-depth exploration of the landscape in chapter 7, and then writing the report or the report on your vacation or exploration of your journey in chapter 8, actually, which is also now represented in the book as the last chapter. And I also have here some other keywords about tour guide, about visitors, about collecting reward miles, and actually it's not in the book yet, but might be a version 3 or on the companion website or a third edition, where to make the journey fun, collecting reward miles that you can collect with frequent flyer miles and so on. So this is basically where the first idea was born, and it came in basically in chapter 5 in the first edition of the book, and then adding the navigation instrument, the NCT model. And and when you read the second edition of the book, you will see that it evolved a bit further from these first ideas, first notes here in early 2000 something. I'm not sure when I read the paper. It might have not been 2003, but maybe more like 2005, 6, something along those years.
So now your child is about 10 years old. Did you make the experience that it helps understanding the topics you teach?
Yeah, it's from the feedback I get. I mean, people very much like the images, even though my drawings are not very great. But it helps. It does. As the paper already predicted, having some images and also the coding swamp, and I see it now cited already a few times already in the literature. So that really made some impression now on the literature that people use the metaphoric language in order to explain something, and the feedback also in the workshops is that people like the images.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking. Bye.